Hello everyone, and welcome back to Rob's Gaming Table. Today on the table, as you've seen, we have exclusive spoilers from the upcoming Game of Thrones: The Card Game 2nd Edition House Stark expansion titled Wolves of the North, which we will be revealing in this video, but not till later. First, we're going to go over the Fantasy Flight Games article that was posted about 2 days before the time of this recording that went over the House Martell and House Targaryen cards and even spoiled a couple plots from that box. So we'll go over those in a minute. And to help me with that, I've brought on our Senior Card Spoiler Correspondent, Kevin, to join me and help me through this. He's a lot better than me at tracking all the spoilers that have been announced and knowing what's coming in the future and good at analyzing that stuff. So I brought him on to basically balance out my silliness of my bad memory, basically. And yeah, try to put something nice together for you guys. So stay tuned for the exclusive spoilers coming at the end. But first, we're going to go through what was posted in the article. So we'll bring those up on screen here if everything works out. So we have the House Florent Knight was spoiled in the card fan. You could actually see all the text. There were a couple other cards in that card fan that we've seen before, and some we couldn't see the text, but this one we can fully see. So Kevin, if you'd like to read this card out to our friends here.
So this is House Florent Knight. It is a House Florent Knight. It is a 5-cost, 3-strength character with a military and an intrigue icon. It has a force reaction. After House Florent Knight enters play, choose a character with the lowest strength in play and discard it from play.
What do you think?
So it's definitely interesting. The 5-cost is kind of prohibitive, but it definitely has an effect when it enters the board. Sometimes it might be to your own not benefit.
Yeah, to trade out with another card you have in play even.
Yeah, so it might, if your opponent does not have their reducers, it might target your Garden Caretaker or your Arbor Knights. But otherwise, if intended, it could take out your opponent's Marjorie's, Varys, anything that low.
I think another good use for it is just thinking hitting something low is, I know I was playing Martell, sometimes I'll have my Bastard Daughters out there.
Right.
And this gets rid of them and they don't trigger.
Yes,
right?
because Bastard Daughters only on killed, so this would be perfect for taking care of them.
Good for discard.
But yeah, just generally taking care of Chuds before the challenges phase could be helpful.
Especially if you're going second on the Marshal too, right? Then they've already played what they need to play. Otherwise, you might be holding this guy in your hand for a while. And my point of view is the 5-cost seems a little high, but it is trading a card like you're swinging the board state. Like pretty, like it's like stealing a character kind of for $5 if that's how you look at it, because you're getting rid of one on their board, putting one out on yours. But yeah, that kind of stuff is pretty powerful. So $5 maybe is a pretty good cost for it, but it kind of sucks when you think of it and you see the 3 strength and you know you can't play him unless you have something else that's 3 strength out in play, right? Or otherwise, since it's a forced reaction, it's going to hit himself because it has to trigger. It's not optional. So yeah,
but he's he'll definitely have some uses, but him compared to the 5-cost Knight of Flowers is definitely much worse.
And isn't the one that comes out, Hobber?
Yes, Hobber and Horus are both 5.
They're 5 too, right? Yeah. It's getting some expensive cards in the deck.
But more Knights, so...
Yeah, Knights, that's for sure. And we know that just came out in the pack. All those Knights that came out in the King's Peace pack, right?
Yep.
This works great with that stuff, so... Yeah. And he's got an intrigue icon. That's interesting on a Knight. That's not normal, usually. It's usually military and power.
Yep, but the Arbor Knight as well.
Arbor Knight, yeah, that's true, that's true. Alright, so that's the House Florent Knight. Next, we have Ago, another Dothraki from Targaryen. This guy is a 5-cost character with military and intrigue icons, 4 strength. He's unique, and he's a Blood Rider and a Dothraki. Action, if there is a summer plot card revealed, choose and stand a Blood Rider character, limit once per round. So how many Blood Riders we got?
This would be the second.
So he can trigger this on himself.
Yep.
Which if he just got knelt out, or the other Blood Rider is Recaro, right?
Yep. So the good thing about these two right now is you could trigger, because Recaro has the rule, if there's another Blood Rider character you control and play, he gains Intimidate. You could get 2 procs on Intimidate in 1 turn. The downside is that currently there are only 2 summer plots. We don't know whether there are more in this box.
Yeah, you'd think there should be if they're trying to do what they usually do in packs, where they release a card and then give you like kind of cards that balance it out. So we should hopefully see some summer if we're going to see some winter.
But yeah, similar to when Recaro came out, we said we can't fully judge him because we don't know the other Blood Riders. Similarly, we can't judge Aggo fully until we know what all the summer plots are.
True.
But currently there is Calm of Westeros, which is widely played, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But the other one is Turning for the King, which Targaryen does not benefit.
Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird one.
Unless there are more in the near future, that ability is not super.
Yeah, they have to be giving more to this. Seems like more of another seed card, basically.
Yeah. And in we know in Pack 6 that Jogo is coming out, so he will be the third.
Oh, okay.
One other thing is with him coming out, the stock rises in Dothraki Sea, so that might now be played because you can sneak Aggo in after winning Power Challenge.
Oh, yes.
Maybe proc him to stand somebody, and then if Recaro wins the Power Challenge, you could also trigger it, bring in another Blood Rider, and then trigger Intimidate because he then has it at that point.
That's crazy, but that's awesome. Yeah. If you get that going, but
But also I'm glad to see he has an intrigue icon. I wasn't sure how Dothraki characters would generally be fitting that in.
True.
So it is good if you are building around Dothraki and avoiding Daenerys that you will have.
That is huge, actually. Yeah, because I remember in first edition playing my Dothraki decks, it's like my only intrigue icons were like on a crone type character, like they've given us already. Hey, you could kneel this guy for the Crone's reaction, right?
You could absolutely.
Yeah,
do that.
That'd be perfect. So efficient.
Yes.
No. But then you could do the action and stand him.
That's true. The option is there.
I see what they're doing here. That's the perfect combo. All right, so that's Aggo. Aggo. Okay. All right. Next one. Kevin, you want to read this one?
Here we have Dragon Sight. It's a 1-cost Targaryen event. We'll note that all the non-start cards in this box are non-loyal, so that they could potentially go with plot with the starts.
Okay.
So this is non-loyal as well. It is an action. Each participating non-dragon character gets -1 strength until the end of the challenge.
Yeah. Yep. More strength reduction.
Yep.
Just what Targ needs.
Just what they need. Luckily, this one does not kill on its own.
True, you have to add it together with something else.
But
like
yes, we have the plot coming up, which they've mentioned in the article as well, for Blood of the Dragon, which is more or less the same effect except for kills if the strength is 0 or less.
True. And the other thing too I noticed in second edition, some of our local Targ players, or Targ players in general I see, is they're really trying to make the kill happen, but sometimes just a -1 strength or a -4 strength at the right time can push through the challenge you need to swing the game, win the game, get your larger objective through by or like stopping your opponent from winning that intrigue. Even though you're not going to kill that character, it may be just enough so you can defend the intrigue, to save the card in your hand, to stop them from drawing off of a location or that kind of thing. And just as -1 strength, that's sometimes enough. How many times you put a challenge in, you count everything out on the board, and you're like, if he has this, okay, I only need to put in this much, and he can only defend with 1 less, or equal amount, and I'm good.
But but the thing to remember about this is, though it is non-dragon, it is your guys as well.
Oh, each participating. Yeah. I'm an idiot.
But
I thought it was opponents.
But it's still fine.
Yeah, I thought it was opponents. Sorry. Yeah,
obviously,
you're right.
The obvious things you could pair with this are Crown of Gold, Jakaris, to add on that extra 1 to kill things.
Yep.
But if, let's say you are attacking with 1 character and they have to block with 2, and they just beat it, if you play this, assuming they're not dragons, they're -2 and you're now -1.
Yeah,
so you're winning
true.
That point.
I see. That works that way then. Yeah.
So yes, it skews the math. You can trick them into blocking in a certain way where they think they're winning, and then you can overcome that.
Basically with another strength reduction.
Yeah.
On its own though, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's each participating character gets that.
Oh,
yours only gets -1.
Yeah.
Yes, or if you were attacking with a dragon.
Yeah, or the dragons too.
So it has different uses. It's certainly a flexible card here.
And it's exciting too that they say non-dragon, so that leaves room for other dragon cards to come out later.
Yep.
And this card, if you're not playing it now, may become even better later with the larger dragons. I'm sure that will come eventually.
Yep.
So I like when they do that stuff. All right, so that's Dragon Sight. Next, on to the Martell cards from the Wolves of the North box. We have Quentin Martell. He is a 6-cost Martell character with a military icon and a power icon, 4 strength. He's unique. He's non-loyal. He's a knight and a lord. while you are not the first player, Quentin Martell gets +1 strength and gains stealth. He also has an interrupt. When Quentin Martell is killed, choose and kill a character with lower strength than his. He's a lord in Martell. Works with Doran.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like that. He's the whole, if you're losing, so you're losing to win kind of theme in Martell. So when he dies, you can hit the opponent, which can be a great effect.
Yeah. He has a, yes, it is a steep cost to plan on killing him to take something out, but it's certainly a, if I get taken down, I'm taking someone with me.
Yeah, which I like. So it's like you can get some use out of him and then wait till an opponent has a character. It kind of puts that decision on your opponent, right? That if they want to do a military, you might just kill him to kill their Marjorie or something. But he also has that if you're not the first player. So going second in Martell theme, which is, yeah, is kind of a theme.
Yeah, so if you're against, it is a theme. It's theme with Unbound and Broken, Palace Spear Guard, those sorts of cards.
Sunspear too, right?
Sunspear, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's good. So if you're against Greyjoy, who wants to go first, they are giving him a strength boost and stealth to block their unopposed.
And lets you hit. He'll be a 5 at that point, and then when he dies, you can hit a 4.
Yeah, you can hit a 4
or lower.
Yeah, so you can hit the ashes, the
God.
all those sorts of things.
That's awesome.
As Rob mentioned, Doran earlier, you can use Doran or any strength buff in general to increase his threshold.
Oh God!
Here, you're unlikely to be taking out any Sir Gregor Cleganes unless you use multiple cards, but the potential is certainly there to take out five strength characters.
So you throw Dawn on him, have Doran
in
play.
Doran, and then he can get up to a good old. If you're going second, 17.
Oh my God!
But I wouldn't count on that.
He gets revenge.
Yes, if you want him to die at that point, that you're probably not.
Going
at the right.
Yep.
But at 6 cost, if you are pairing him with Doran, which they naturally go together, you are running into higher curve. Who's taking the noble cause at that point?
True.
Maybe you take the place of a Red Viper at that point for certain decks.
Yeah.
But then you are losing out on high strength intrigue.
Or is this just one of those kind of things where maybe we don't run 3 of all those characters? Maybe it's like 2 of this guy.
Yep.
1 or 2 of Doran, 1 or 2 of Red Viper. You know, you start slimming it out, so it's not just like I have to take out my 7 coster to put this guy in, or my 6 coster to put this guy in. It's like, well, I just have a couple cards of both, or 1 of each, or 2 of one and 1 of the other, or whatever.
Yep.
Spread the love a little bit, so you're not getting dead draws when one dies, because this guy you're gonna kill him, and you might kill him early.
Yep. So unless there's recursion, I wouldn't count too much on the interrupt. On the interrupt being a large game plan.
I like it. It's more of a. So right now, looking at the Lords of the Crossing decks, so you have the Tyrell Rush, for example, and then you have the I'm Martell. I want to stall till I build up a board, and late game Rush. This guy plays perfect in that as the Tarly across the board from you, or the Knight of Flowers who's building up strength, You could throw a Dawn on this guy, or even with the +1 ability. No, you need to throw the Dawn on him, or Doran. But anyway, get his strength up, and then late game, when your opponent's rushing and they're getting close, you pop this off. Now you've swung it.
And crossing decks have to be doing military challenges to be doing
you're forcing them into it, right? So
it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like throws the pressure on the rush that way.
As we mentioned, all these are non-loyal, so you could throw in Quentin Martell as a banner card. He's not anything to shake a stick at, but he definitely has potential.
Yeah, it's tough just thinking of what cards he's taking out in the other decks, but yeah, he's still interesting. Yep. He's still a lord though. Like this, he's not as expensive as you think. That's like can be reduced, so you can get him into play pretty easily. But yeah, I don't know. I like him. He's a good card. I think he's interesting. He just another lord or lady kind of thing for Doran, and Martell might make Doran see more play.
Yep.
All right. Next Martell card is his Viper's Eyes. Kevin, you want to take this one?
So his Viper Eyes is a 0 cost event for Martell. It is a reaction after you lose a military or a power challenge as the defending player. Look at the winning opponent's hand, then choose and discard 1 card from their hand.
Yeah, do we have any other cards that do this kind of thing that we know of? Have we ever seen this effect before?
As far as losing, no, but discarding, we have Scene of Flames from Scene of Force.
Feels like a Scene of Flames card to me.
But yeah, it's definitely It definitely has uses. The first thing that comes to mind is if you are pairing it with Gaston Grey. This could be in two ways. If you are playing against Lannister, you could use this first, take any treachery that they might be saving for Gaston Grey.
Oh my god.
Or you can Gaston Grey the card back to their hand and then discard it.
Oh, this brings Gaston Grey like up in value, right? Wow.
But it definitely brings it up in value, but as I play Gaston Grey now, smart players know how it works and they will not throw in Tywin into challenges.
Oh, for sure. Which is the perfect, that's the card's supposed to really do anyway, right? But yeah.
I think it definitely pairs well in that manner.
Yeah, it's just more of the lose to win, right? It's just, while I'm losing and putting power on my Boneway, I'm going to be playing dumb effects like this, it seems, but it's going to stall you down, prevent you from winning while I build up my board and try to rush for the win late game, or the long plan, as they say.
Yep. And selective discard definitely has synergy with the Crone of Vyas Dothrak if you were to put these two houses together, but those do not, they don't naturally mesh together, but it's always a potential. Yeah,
well, that's the fun little combo you can have going there. Right. So one of the plots, if you see in the article, they're not as images sitting up on the screen. They're on the main page. They are in the text, so you can see them like they're links basically in the article. You can click on to see these plots. The one plot in the article that we'll look at is the Long Winter, which has a beautiful stat line in my opinion: 4/2/2. So 4 gold, 2 initiative, 2 claim, and 4 reserve. Though is a little tight. It's winter traded. It has a win revealed ability. Each player without a summer traded plot card revealed discards 1 power from a card he or she controls, and it has a plot deck limit of 1. Yeah, so this hits you. That's like a downside on the plot, I think, for having the nice stat line of 4/2/2 across the top. So you're gonna lose a power, but it also hits your opponent that doesn't have a summer card revealed. And as Kevin said earlier, there's only a couple summer plots so far that we know of, so more likely than not, you're going to hit the opponent too. So it's not that bad. You're just kind of slowing the game down a bit, generally, I guess. I don't know, Kevin, what do you think?
So, naturally, this would have comparison to the other 2-claim plot that's out right now, Winds of Winter.
Yep.
We're not going to talk about Sneak Attack. So Winds of Winter is 3/4/2. So if 3/4/2 and it has a reserve of 5. So if you compare it to this, this gives you 1 more gold, less initiative, but it's not that big a deal because of the things in that initiative range. But I think the biggest thing is the reserve, because 4 reserve is the worst you can possibly get.
True. But in a deck that's just trying to put on pressure, like let's say Stark military deck, it's a winter plot, right?
Yep.
So it's going to be focused on Greyjoy, Night's Watch, or Stark, in my opinion.
Yep.
Just because those are like the northern factions thematically. So those decks are more about the kill. Maybe not Night's Watch so much. I guess they have a lot of military too, but the Starks and the Greyjoys are all about the kill, and hitting you with 2 claim is huge. And maybe at the point in the game they're doing this, they don't really care. They don't really have a lot of draw either. So 4 reserve, is it that big of a deal? I don't know, but I think they had to put some kind of downside on the plot just because it's a 2 claim, right? So
yeah, it's just when you're playing a 2-claim plot, it is, in my mind, it is very important to be getting off multiple challenges where that 2-claim is occurring.
Agreed.
So if you are playing one of those houses that Rob had mentioned that are military focused, you have to be thinking, am I getting 2 intrigue or 2 power in this turn?
True. Yeah, so any faction can benefit from this, I agree. I was just thinking those northern houses the card draw doesn't, like the reserve doesn't hit them as much because their hands are never that big, because they're not protecting themselves from intrigue challenge loss, so they're usually losing more cards.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like 4 reserve doesn't usually hurt those factions.
Yeah.
Playing this in a Lannister deck, that would suck, but I mean, you'd have more opportunity to get all 3 challenges off.
Yes. Yeah.
And possibly win them, for
example. It's just, you have to think when you're putting together your plot deck whether or not a 2-claim plot will benefit you over other things that may occur.
Yeah, because it's like, it can be win more, right? Like,
yes,
it's
absolutely.
2-claim is great when your board looks awesome and you have, more out than your opponent and you can handle them and overcome them. But when you're losing and you flop down a 2-claim, right now, having 3 gold on the Winds of Winter, it kind of hurts a little bit. Like, it's not going to get you back into it.
Right.
But this kind of could a little bit more.
Yep.
But for reserve, yeah, it's like it's going to empty your hand. So you already have to have kind of a big board. So it's more of a closer plot, I think, than a comeback in the game kind of plot. But
yeah,
it's interesting. It's nice to see some more 2-claim. I'm a fan of that. Playing it, not playing against it.
Right.
So, but you know what I mean. All right.
Yeah, don't never play 2-claim plots. Don't bother.
Yeah, don't play him, especially if you're in a tournament against me. Yeah. Don't play him. All right. So the next card we got is a champ card. It was in first edition. It is a Time for Wolves. 3/1/1. So 3 gold, 1 initiative, and 1 claim, 6 reserve. It's loyal to the House Stark. It's got a winter trait. It's when revealed, search your deck for a direwolf card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Or add it to your hand, sorry. If that card's printed cost is 3 or lower, you may put it into play instead. Shuffle your deck. Card designed by 2012 North American champion Dan Kidd Seafeld. What do you think?
So, it's definitely interesting. Personally, I do not see myself, maybe 5% of the time, I would get a direwolf that I do not put in play with this.
Yeah.
It is essentially throwing away the free gold that a search gives you.
Yeah.
But this is definitely useful with the things that can hit now, which are Lady and Summer. They're both great because Lady you want to get in play, Summer you want to trigger his effect.
Yep.
In the box, we know Nymeria is coming. We know her effect.
Attachment too, right?
And then we have Shaggy Dog as well, but we don't know his text yet.
Oh, okay.
But we know he's 2 cost. So the only thing that's out of range is Grey.
Oh, was it one of the fans or whatever? Like
it was in the magazine.
The magazine spoiler. Yes. Okay.
And you could grab Ghost as well for add faction, or if there's a Ghost in this box. But again, he is over 3 gold at this time.
Okay.
But definitely good.
Yeah, I like any tutor, any kind of like mitigating variants, pulling stuff out of your deck, controlling the play.
Yep.
I like that stuff. But yeah, not much more to be said. It's a good plot. I can see Starks playing with it now that they're getting more direwolf cards. It's definitely going to help them out. And yeah, tutor is a Stark thing, it seems. So this works. All right, we've reached that time. It's now time for the exclusive spoilers. Seen here first. OMG. First one. We have a plot from the Wolf of the North box. It is Snowed Under. Kevin, you want to read this one?
So, Snowed Under is a winter traded plot. It has 5 gold, 0 initiative. We'll come back to that. And 1 claim. It has 6 reserve. The ability on it is that you treat the base initiative value of each revealed plot card as if it were 0.
Yeah. I looked at this first and went, what? I don't get it. Why would you want to do this? And then Kevin said,
you can increase your initiative in different ways.
Yep.
The 2 cards currently are the King's Road, which everyone has access to, and the Salty Navigator for Greyjoy, which is non-loyal, I believe, in case you wanted to fiddle with that in a banner deck. But yeah, you are not necessarily on an even playing field when you play this card, as you would immediately think.
Yeah.
One other thing is that Rob was pointing out earlier.
Oh yes, the late game. Like if you're like we were talking about Martell, for like the comeback idea. If you're just a faction that's having trouble getting power going in the early game, like you're like a slower deck basically. Later game, trying to get out your renowned characters and start pushing power. Or you're trying to build up your board and you're falling behind. You noticed a little bit early in the game. This is good for that if you're gonna have less power than your opponent because that breaks ties. For initiative, you would then choose to go first or second based on what you need to do. And in most cases with that Martell, Lords of the Crossing, or late game Rush style deck, it just lets you choose to go second like you want to with Sunspear or Quentin or whoever, or whatever effect we were talking about. But yeah.
Yeah, if used properly, gives you control of the initiative. So it is a pseudo high initiative plot that has 5 gold.
True, that's true.
Obviously, you are essentially giving up the effect of a different plot at this point.
Yeah.
But it's definitely has potential.
5 gold is nothing to sneeze at. That is great. 6 reserve also is great. Like, yeah, stat wise it's good because it really reads if you're doing it right. Like you say, it could be like a 5/12 one. If you're doing it right. And all you need is like maybe a King's Road in play or a Salty Navigator or 2, right?
Right.
And so to me it sounded like a Greyjoy plot, unless Stark has some maybe some stuff coming out in this box. Maybe there's a neutral coming out in the box. Maybe that has initiative bump on it, or a neutral location. Yeah. Maybe like it can't just be King's Road and Salty Navigators. They got to give us more, right?
No, I would imagine there'd be more coming in the future.
There'll be more like that. So this could get better in the future, like a lot of cards.
Yeah.
You look at depends what FFG gives us.
But yeah, it seems like if you are the fast deck or if you are the slow deck, then this has potential for you. If you are a middle of the road deck, you don't necessarily have the ability to. Well, you have the ability, but you don't necessarily have the intent to fix the initiative in manners like that.
True, and if seasons are becoming a thing, as we've seen with some other winter cards, and we've seen a lot of winter traded plots, and I think that's how they're controlling seasons is through the plot trait, because all the effects we've seen, right, have been if they have a summer plot, if they have a winter plot. So if you're building a winter deck, this is just another winter plot, right? And maybe you don't care about the ability.Maybe you just need a 5 gold, another winter plot in your deck. That's just a meh plot, right? This
could be the only winter plot that has a significant amount of gold, and it's not.
This could be your economy plot.
It's not awful.
Yep, that's it's interesting. It's a good plot. It's interesting. It's a little out of the box, but out of box thinking on it, but it's a tool. It can be used. All right, and the next one we have is, I believe, the more interesting one in my opinion. To me, for my use and benefit, is the Ranger's Cache. It is a 3 gold, 0 initiative, 1 claim, 6 reserve. It's a kingdom and a winter traded plot. It has the interrupt. When the taxation phase ends, either draw 2 cards or gain 3 gold. Plot deck limit 1. I like it. I think the idea of having 3 gold kind of worried me a little bit, because playing low gold plots, you can only put so many in your deck, and does this one any better than, let's say, the other draw plots? Counting coppers, 3 gold is better than that. The initiative is low, claim's the same, but the neat idea about this, as Kevin was mentioning before to me, is the way you're getting it later. So it's after challenges phase, it's when taxation ends. So it's after you've discarded down for reserve. It's after the intrigue deck, whatever, or intrigue faction has been destroying your hand.
Yep.
You now get to get these cards, and you see them before the next draw phase, plot phase. You know, you can choose your plot after seeing these cards. And if you have, let's say, a character in your hand already at the end of the taxation phase, you have your big 7 cost or your 6 cost, or you haven't been able to get into play, you now know you can grab 3 gold and now choose your next plot, knowing you can drop that character into play. So it can kind of fix your next round and make your next round a little better, kind of like the long plan.
Yep. It
feels a lot like. But I don't know, Kevin, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's certainly flexible, so you could use it in a wide variety of ways, depending on what the follow-up plots you want to do is, what's in your hand. Yep. Getting that extra gold could help with if you follow it up with summons or building orders or counting coppers or wildfire assault or anything else that removes characters from the board.
Yep.
It's all like that is just the gold side that you can consider.
Yeah.
Instead, you could draw more cards, play your high gold plots.
Trading with the Bendoshi?
Trading with the Bendoshis, your marching orders, your calling the banners if that situation arises. But yeah, the only downside that we found was obviously it is kingdom traded as well.
Yeah.
So you could lose that small 3 gold to naval superiority, but that's not it's not huge in my opinion.
Yeah, it's only losing 3 gold, but now you got to go the rest of the turn without that 3 gold.
Yes.
It's not like calling the banners, which is, you know, you lose 3 gold, but you could have gained how much from all the enemy's character or the opponent's characters in play.
But you could be losing. My view is that their naval superiority could be hitting something a lot bigger, like you're trading with.
That's true. That's true. This isn't the worst hit, but just getting 0 gold going into the marshalling phase. Oh, so hard, so hard. Hurts.
Yeah, this definitely has opportunities with planning and or recovery.
Yeah. But I just, the flexibility. I just love the flexibility at the end of the phase, just to decide, like the whole turn. Now you're sitting there, like when you, even before you pick this plot, you're looking at it thinking, how's this turn going to go? Do I like kind of just write this turn off, kind of keep things the way they are, and plan to hit better next round?
Yeah, or if you are in a commanding position and you just want to wait the turn out and see what your opponent is doing, you can play this, if everything goes the same way, you can make a decision based on that and move on.
True. And like I said before, it's a winter trait, so now you have another winter plot. So they're really pushing the winter theme here.
And of course, adding gold is important going forward for when you want to be playing multiple mid-range cost characters, or if you want to play the large armies that are coming. So that you don't have to play Trading with the Pentoshi at that point.
Or marching orders.
Marching orders, yeah. So you could use this combined with a reasonably high gold
That's true.
cost. So you could do this and Calling the Banners and get out your 8 cost characters.
The other fun interaction we talked about for the player who likes to gamble a little bit is doing this into the summons.
Yep.
So summons is 4 gold. You get 3 gold off this if you want, and then you play it into summons the next turn, which you try to dig for your 7 coster. And if you're lucky in that top 10 cards, you grab them, and now you can play them with summons in the same turn.
Yeah, because you never want to... The worst thing that can happen is when you summons for something, and then it's your intrigue claim.
Yeah. So now it's like you might actually be able to flop Danny in with this thing if you haven't seen her yet, or Robert Baratheon or whatnot. I like that. That's kind of fun. It's just the flexibility. It just shows you that, like you said, with lower gold plots it works. With higher gold plots it works. With higher gold plots you can maybe not even grab the gold. You just draw the cards, so you can play the cards you draw, and just how you're basically getting 4 new cards going in the next round. That's huge. That is huge.
But yeah, as we're mentioning, and we'll bring up a couple cards here, having the winter trait is very important, and these flexible winter cards are highlights. Like the ones that are more narrow, like your Long Winters or your Snowed Unders, can't go everywhere. But using these with the winter-dependent cards,
like, what else do we have? We have
Winterfell.
Winterfell we've seen, right?
Yep. So this was previewed in the initial announcement of Wolves of the North. So it's a 4-cost loyal location for Starks. It's the North and Winterfell traded. Each Stark character you control gets +1 strength, but the important part that we're mentioning here is it has a reaction. After a challenge is initiated, you can kneel Winterfell. Then each player with a non-Winter plot card revealed cannot trigger card abilities until the end of the challenge. So if you want to be triggering your Put to the Swords, your kill spells, they cannot hand judgment them unless they're in the same vein.
But that means you need to be playing winter plots.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I would say, like, most of your plots should be winter if you're playing this, no?
Well, Winterfell is in the space where it's not awful. If you can't... The important thing is that
you're shutting your opponent down, yeah. Yes. So, but if you want to add more of a benefit to the card, you need to play more winters. It doesn't make it unplayable. It just makes, I see. You just get more of a benefit out of it. Yeah. And for 4 gold, you better be getting damn good benefits out of it. 4 gold, gosh.
But yeah, as these locations that give boosts to all your characters, that is, it's a nice token to have on the location if you can't use the whole thing.
Yeah. True. Yeah, +1 to all your characters we've seen with the wall. Just how great that is. Especially when you're playing against Daenerys Targaryen.
Yep.
Jeez Louise.
So you just pretend that they're printed strength.
Alright, so then the other one you mentioned before that we've seen is Hard as Winter. It's a Stark event, non-loyal. For $1, you get to play only if there's a winter plot card in your used pile. Interesting, not being a winter card in play. Then it has reaction after a Stark character you control is sacrificed or killed. Put a Stark character with equal or lower printed costs into play from your hand.
Yeah, so we don't know fully the potential of... we've seen some sacrifice-related cards in the preview articles, but we don't know all of them. So this card definitely has potential, but the dependence on the winter plot in your used pile is not as bad, seeing some of these plot cards that we have recently. Originally... only knowing the ones that were in the core set and since
they weren't
we didn't have a great idea, but this is definitely more flexible now that we've seen
this card definitely is. Seeing these other winter plots definitely makes me think more about this card and how it could be used. And I think the funny play that I would see, which would annoy me being across the table from it, would be after I try to play a Put to the Sword or a Tears of Bliss and my opponent uses Bran to cancel it, sacrifices him, has Bran in hand, and then plays Bran, and now I tried to probably bait Bran at that point, get him out of play, and there he is sitting across the table from me again. And I don't really want to waste the hand's judgment on this card, But yeah, it might get to that point sometimes. Oh, jeez. Just another Stark event to make you think. And I like, the one thing right now is I'm sitting across from my opponent. I go, okay, they're playing House Stark. Well, they have this event, or this event.
Right.
And just more events in the game
Yeah.
just makes the play more interesting. I love that in first edition. You'd see an event from your opponent hit the discard pile, and it mattered. You would now go through the discard pile more often to know, does he play this event? Does he play more than one? But right now, when I see an event, I most likely know you're probably playing 2 or 3. But when they start giving you more options, maybe you play this once, and now I'm like, oh, he's got more of these. But you might not, because now you have more options. So yeah, I'm excited just to get more events in the game and more options, and I hope they're more playable and they're not just all going to be binder fodder. This should be playable.
Yep.
Seems pretty good. I don't see why there's a problem to this.
Yeah, especially with all the sacrifice stuff coming, you can...
But even if it got just killed, like, you're going to have guys die.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, something's going to get killed. Like, yeah, it's not even worried about the sacrifice. Just, you're in a bad situation. You get to just put a character back out. And when you're worried about those plays where you have your, like, 3 good characters on the board and your 1 military claim you got out, like your little weenie, you kill him. Now you're worried you're susceptible to a marched next round.
Right.
This helps protect you from that.
Yep.
So you can quickly replace a character in play. So if you do decide to lose a military challenge to Stark, or you're trying to be aggressive, you can now say on your 2 claim turn, just unopposed, I'll kill something. Now I can hit you hard with my military. You didn't get me to kneel anything. And I have another character back out and play, so I can come back at you with, and that character is there standing ready to go. So yeah, that's kind of annoying, kind of interesting. Yeah, it's good. It's basically like an economy card, right? That's pretty much what it is. And economy right now is huge. So yeah, I like it. So these are the spoilers we got from FFG. Thank you to Fantasy Flight Games, the makers of this game, for sending these plots to us to allow us to spoil these exclusively on the channel. And if you guys want to see more spoilers in the future, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when we post videos like this and when we go live, doing live streams of Game of Thrones: The Card Game, and article reviews, chapter pack reviews, and just pre-recorded games with commentary. So I want to thank Kevin for joining me today, and I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.